Your McGinnisism for today is learning versus leaning on our current understanding. Guys, leaders are learners. I was a terrible student in school. I have a voracious appetite for learning now. As you may have noticed, there's a few books on my shelf and you can't see the rest of it. It's a veritable library. So what do I mean by that? When I was growing up, I didn't like school. I went to a different school every year since third grade. Different school every year since third grade. My mom and dad were divorced from the time I was about 2 years old. And consequently, I'd be bounced back and forth between my parents. But then I'd get to different schools. And my dad's philosophy was, if someone made fun of you, hit them. If there's a group of guys and someone makes fun of you, look for the biggest guy, not the little yappy dog. Look for the biggest guy in the group and hit him as hard as you can. And one of two things are going to happen. Either you'll win the fight and no one will ever mess with you again, or you lose the fight, but they still respect you for hitting the big guy, not the little yappy dog. And that was one upbringing that I had. When I lived with my mom, she was the political, talk it out, right? Diffuse the situation. So I had two completely different upbringings. And being a cowboy, I'd show up to school. My first day, I'd have cowboy boots on, a big belt buckle. And consequently, that would cause somebody to say something. And early on, I tended to go more my dad's direction, right? I had a very, very short fuse back in the day. And consequently, many schools asked me to please not come back. They'd suspend me a couple times and be like, nope, you're out of here. Luckily, thank God I got into business and somebody gave me a book. And as I was listening to that book, and it was a Zig Ziglar book where he talked about some of the things we've talked about on some of the other videos, and that saved my life, changed my thought process, changed my philosophy, changed my mindset. I'm glad I boxed in the military. I'm glad I learned how to fight. I'm glad I took Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm glad I know Aikido. I'm glad I know these things because we hear that the meek shall inherit the earth. The actual definition of the word is power with restraint. And I heard someone recently talk about if you have a sword, but you keep it sheathed, you have the ability to protect your family. You have the ability to restrain yourself. To just be timid is not being your full self. So what's that got to do with learning? As we learn more, we are more powerful. Our ability to understand different scenarios, different situations by our ability to learn gives us more power, and we can choose to wield that power like a sword and go attack everybody, or we can have power with restraint. We can use that knowledge where we can actually do some good in our life and in other people's life. I would highly encourage to start growing in some area. When we're green, we're growing. When we get ripe, we start to rot. So that constant learning. In my business, I have a name for the business. If you got a poker chip, you'll know on the poker chip it says DECA Leadership Development. Well, DECA is an acronym. DECA stands for the D, bring us your dreams and goals. E, with some enthusiasm. Enthusiasm comes from the Greek word entheos, meaning God within. It's a godlike ability to get excited once in a while. Let your face know you're excited every now and then, by the way, guys. Enthusiasm also, the IASM stands for, at the end, is I am sold myself. So you're letting people know this is important to me. This is exciting to me. I want you to hear about it. Do something with it or not, but I want to make sure you have the information. And then, so that's DEK. K is Kaizen. It's a Japanese word that stands for constant and never-ending improvement. If you get 1% better every day for 100 days, you're 100% better than you were before. So Kaizen, that constant never-ending improvement, learning, that's Kaizen, right? It's working on getting better, improving, sharpening your sword. And then the A is massive action. If we take massive action, we can get massive results in our life. If we take a little bit of action, we'll get a little bit of results. In the financial education space that my business is in, we teach people how to take massive action to create financial futures that are dramatically different than what they're currently on track for. So DECA, if you were wondering what the DECA was, a big part of that is about constant learning, improving, getting better. And your self-worth goes up. When you learn more, you feel more valuable. When you have that base of, Guys, there's ignorance. I'll claim ignorance all day long. And then there's uneducated. Ignorance means I'm unaware of some information. I don't know about that information. There's a lot of ignorance around health. There's a lot of misinformation out there around health, kind of shining a light on some of that through this 100 days. There's even more misinformation when it comes to financial health, and the misinformation or lack of information that's out there is just crazy. So I love being in a business where I actually get to make a change in that space. But anyhow, the goal of tonight, the reason for this conversation, I'm just encouraging you as you're learning a little bit, watching me be a guinea pig when it comes to eating McDonald's for 100 days. What's another area of your life that you'd like to improve? And what's one step? What's one thing you could do today to start making a positive advancement in that area? Leaders are learners. You lead others by leading yourself first. How could I ever encourage someone else to get themselves in shape physically if I was out of shape physically? How could I ever hope to help someone encourage them to move into a better place financially if I was out of shape financially? Now, here's the last piece of this though. Direction, not perfection. I don't have to wait until I am a multimillionaire to make some changes to actually encourage some others to make the same changes that are helping me change my direction to get, if I'm in a boat that tips over and there's a bunch of us in the ocean and another boat comes along and throws me a life preserver, I don't have to wait until I am saved, right? I'm pulled all the way up on their boat. As they throw me the life preserver and they're pulling me to safety, I can reach out and grab a few other people and drag them along with me to safety as well. As long as I'm heading in the right direction, not perfection, not waiting until I get there, but I'm moving the right direction, I want to bring as many people along with me as I possibly can. Guys, I'm so thankful you guys are along for this ride. I'm so appreciative of the comments, the likes, the follows. Thank you so much for everything you guys are doing. I want to make sure that I bring value back to you. Hopefully some of these conversations have caught your attention in an area or two. I hope so. Anyhow, have a great rest of your night. Oh, by the way, dinner tonight, I had a double filet of fish with an extra slice of cheese. I had a business meeting where I was actually on my phone, so I couldn't video while I was on a Zoom call on my phone. So I ate half of that double filet of fish, and it was delish. Have a great night. Take care.